Today we're going to talk about a really cool magazine from back in the day. This is going to be the Nucleonics magazine that was published probably between around 1947 to around the mid to later 1960s. I forgot if it went through 1965 or 1967. Regardless, it's a pretty lengthy publication during the golden era of atomic and nuclear engineering. So one of the nice things about the Nucleonics magazines is it's absolutely 100% pure science. There is no politics, there is no opinion pieces. It is just down and dirty, scientific, raw data. And when I say that, I don't mean it's just a whole bunch of numbers. It's got a whole bunch of schematics, it's got technical diagrams, it has just about everything, which I'm going to kind of get into here in just a second. So in comparison, or in contrast, a magazine like the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, okay, that is completely different. That is a politically fueled publication. Yes, it does have technical articles within it. I'm going to give it credit for that. But overwhelmingly, you're going to find opinion pieces, a political slant. There's going to be some sort of channelization as far as what your perspective should be, but none of that is present within Nucleonics. Again, raw science. So we'll go ahead and start, just kind of pawn through some of these things real quick and kind of show you about what's kind of cool about them. Okay, this one is from 1965. It discusses a whole bunch of topics, including nuclear plant startup, from component tests to full power. See special report on page 45. So let's go up to page 45 and let's kind of give you an example of what it's got here. By the way, the advertisements in these old magazines is just amazing, which will kind of show you those in just a minute. So here we go, starting up nuclear power plants, a Nucleonics special report. It has images of these early days of atomic power that you would find absolutely nowhere else. Okay, this article talks about the trials and tribulations of first starting these plants, testing non-nuclear components and systems, typical pre-operational tests for reactor non-nuclear systems, reactor loading and physics tests. So anyway, there's some more interesting advertisements in this one. So let's go on to another one here. All right, this is an older one. This is one of the earlier journals or magazines from July 1949. Education for Nuclear Engineering, Preparation and Use of Neutron Sources, Classical Radioactivity, Current Ideas about Mesons. That would be kind of interesting since we've had a lot of progress in that over the past 70 years. Introduction to the Theory of Diffusion and Slowing Down of Neutrons. I personally find neutron technology extremely fascinating, and you will find just grassroots, hands-on data in these magazines as far as when it comes to neutron detection, building simple neutron detectors with classic Geiger tubes and paraffin moderators. It's just really great stuff. You just won't find it in magazines of today. Let's see what else we got. Comparative Survey of Ion Guns. Report on Los Alamos Information Meetings. Again, some interesting advertisements of old classic Geiger tubes. Again, a photo neutron source. Totally gives the breakdown of graphite caps, brass tubes, graphite cylinders, beryllium cinders, gamma ray sources. You're just not going to find this anywhere else. These are great publications. And the interesting thing is, they're still out there. I wouldn't call them expensive, but I also wouldn't call them cheap. You just have to hunt around. It took me probably about 7 to 8 years to get the collection that I did. So it is kind of a time-consuming endeavor to get these magazines. Let's see, here's an advertisement for Nuclear Instrument and Chemical Corporation. Nuclear provides a simplified, more efficient detector for every type of radiation counting. All right, here's another one. July 1957. Nucleonics, atomic power, nuclear engineering, applied radiation. The nuclear navy paces atomic industry. Well, that's going to be quite interesting. Page 66. All right, let's go to page 66 and see what we got there. What's new on zirconium? Okay, real quick before we get to the nuclear navy, I find this one extremely interesting. General Electric Vallecillos Atomic Laboratory will help speed economic nuclear power. Vallecillos is kind of special to me since it's only about 30 miles from here. And I used to have a commute where I'd drive right next to it every single day, and you could see it just by the highway. I believe it was recently decommissioned. I think the last stage of its life was developing or producing radioisotopes for the medical industry. I don't think they're doing that anymore, but it's still there, and I don't think it's operating, but it is probably mothballed or just kind of stabilized. Anyway, going on to page 66. Oh, here's another one. The experimental breeder water reactor, or boiling water reactor. How about that for technical detail? The EBWR operating experience. All right, here we go. Nuclear Navy paces U.S. atomic industry. 75 to 100 reactors over the next 8 years leads industry in history's biggest reconversion program. And I believe if you take 1957 into account, by 1967 or 65, I think they might have exceeded that 75 to 100 reactor number, if you want to even include the NASA and the space technology aspect of things with the satellites. Here's an interesting one. U is for uranium in this U-boat. The stern view of the Navy's third nuclear sub, Skate, taken an hour before her launching on May 16th. It's just fascinating reading. It's so much historical detail in here. A food irradiation reactor. All right. Well, I could spend probably hours going through these magazines. We're already at 8 minutes into the video, but the SPURT program, Special Power Excursion Reactor Test, part of the Atomic Energy Commission's Reactor Safety Guide studies, provides information on water-cooled reactors. It looks like they're profiling the control rod drives. Okay, so let's move on from that one. All right, so here's another one from April 1957. Nucleonics, problems, prospects for fast breeder power reactors. Now we start getting into some cool color imagery as the magazines get a little bit newer. This is an advertisement for Nuclear Chicago showing a complete, modernized for the time, radioisotope laboratory. A new program for reactor construction and training. Design of first fast breeder reactor. Where are you going to find that type of detail? You're just not. even the fuel rods. In fact, fuel rod design and dynamics are profiled quite often within this Nucleonics publication. You're going to see that as a recurring theme throughout the 1950s and 60s publications. All right, radioisotopes and radiation in biomedical research. This is a 1965 Nucleonics issue. Here we go. We all know Tracer Lab. Here's an old advertisement. Watchdog Tracer Lab Twin Film Badge Service. For 75 years, leader in the conversion of energy, combustion engineering, showing the boiling nuclear superheat reactor in Puerto Rico. And let's see here. Now, if you're really into the advertisements, like I am, every year, Nucleonics put out a buyer's guide. And you can see that is quite a thick, in comparison, issue. There's lots of stuff in here. Again, I could probably make a video completely off of the buyer's guide itself. 3,000 curies of cobalt-60 and one irradiator, $12,000 from Barre Products in New York. So, that was an interesting one. There we go. Let's go back to that. Let's get back to that here. Let's see. I know I saw that. There we go. That's back when they were contemplating the idea of nuclear-powered jets. And that is an advertisement to stop neutron radiation from the cruise quarters. Very interesting stuff. And let's see. Lastly, electric power directly from fission. That would be a neat article. Let's look at that. Page 50. We'll kind of close out the video with that. Plasma reactor promises direct electric power. So there you have it. That is my take on Nucleonics magazine. I think it would behoove anybody who has an interest in this type of topic to start going on eBay or other auction sites, because they do show up quite often. And I believe this would make a really nice complement for anybody who has an interest in this. All right, that is it. If you like this content, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell. I try to get an upload, whether it be a short, once or twice a day, or a full video like this, a couple times a week. And I have been kind of a hobbyist in this sort of thing for quite a long time, many years. So I've got no shortage of material to keep me busy for quite a few years. So anyway, looking forward to sharing more to everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.